Hello, 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 my friends. Jen Koken here. It's 9:45 on the AM dial on the East Coast anyway. And you know what that means. It's time for Java with Jen. Java with Jen. Java with Jen. Java with Jen. Little sip of the cup. Hot coffee, my favorite. If you don't know me, if we've never met, I'm Jen Koch, and I'm your favorite executive leadership coach dedicated to women in STEM and other male dominated industries, making sure y'all are leading with more authority and influence to make a lasting impact. Authority meaning leading like yourself. If you're feeling like a square peg in a round hole and you've been tired and exhausted of trying to whittle yourself down, make the whole square. That's what these Java with Jen episodes are all about, how to make the whole square. And influence for me is really all about inspiring your team and breathing life into your team. When you combine the confidence of being yourself with inspiring your team, boom, we're going to make an impact and leave a legacy we can be proud of. Okay. I wanted to talk with you today about end of the year performance reviews. I'm going to say one thing before we get into it, because those end of the year performance reviews, whether you're being reviewed by your board, whether you're being reviewed by someone in the C-suite, depending on where you're at, right? It could just be your manager, it could be a manager, but it also could be all the way up to your board of directors. And all these tips today, I have 5 strategies for you are to make sure you ace this performance review. I also included a link to a quick PDF checklist that I created for you that should be helpful. And before I get into all that, let me just say this. If you are only ever having an end of year performance review, or you are only ever doing an end of year performance review, shame on you and shame on your bosses. Performance reviews should be done quarterly. That is the only way you're gonna be able to show your improvement, that you're gonna get real-time feedback from your boss. Never, 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 repeat after me, never, 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 never wait till the end of the year. It doesn't make any sense. Why would a human do that? Well, I know why we do it, because we procrastinate, and 40% of all results are generally produced in the last month of the year. Yeah, we can have a whole other side note about one of my favorite books called The 12-Week Year, how you treat every quarter as a full year. So every week is like a month of your life, and you're no longer having to wait till the end of the year. But I digress, as I usually do. And those of you who have stuck around know that about me. So let's get back to the topic at hand. Okay, performance reviews could either make you super cringy, or you could be excited. Maybe you had a good year. I don't know, but it also, I feel like a review, that word causes trepidation in so many of us. I've got my notes per usual. So, grab your cup of coffee, or if you're like me, you're on your second. And these performance reviews are coming around. I want to make sure that you're not anxious. I want to flip the script on you so you can come to these reviews super prepared. So here's the truth about performance reviews. It's not just about reflecting on the past year. It's also about setting you up for success in the year to come, to advocate for yourself, to get recognized for your hard work, and lay the groundwork for an incredible 2025. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. 5 strategies to help you walk in with confidence, name and own your contributions, and set yourself up for success in the year to come. Number 1, come prepared with quantitative data. Don't just come with stories, but actually start with the key, data, right? Numbers. I want you to take number 1, you're going to grab the checklist that I put in the comments below, and you're going to write down your biggest wins from 2024, like 3 to 5 of the things you're most excited about. But then you want to think about a measurable result, and you want to attach that measurable result to your organizational outcomes. Many of you, I know your organization shares those broad outcomes, but often the time is not taken, in my opinion and my experience, to roll up your personal accomplishments into the overall organizational goals. Now, if you've got a great manager, they've done that with you. They've done an individual development plan, or if that hasn't been done for you, if you're a great manager, if you're a great person, you've done that for yourself because you've done that reflection. What I see too often, end of year, mostly we're harping on what didn't get accomplished, and that's the brain's negativity bias, and we're not paying attention to the things we accomplished. So, grab that checklist. Number 1, write down 3 to 5 goals you're most proud of. Number 2, connect them to the organizational overall objectives and identify a quantifiable result. So instead of saying, oh, I managed X project, say, I led a project that cut costs by 15% and improved the team efficiency by 20%, or whatever that is. Look to see where in your vertical within your company, how that connects to the overall organizational goals. You could say you increase production of a product. You could see you increase sales. Whatever that is, make sure there's some quantifiable measure. Okay. Really, really important because you're dealing with reality. You feel the difference. I led a great project distinct from I led a successful project that increased team collaboration by 20%, that increased cut costs by 15%, increased efficiency by, et cetera. It deals with reality. So you're both doing qualitative and quantitative. And if you're wondering how to connect what you're doing to the goals of the company, ask yourself, what outcomes did I influence over the last year that align with what my organization cares most about? So, what goals, what outcomes did I influence over the last year that align with the goals my organization cares most about? Can you see why it's so important to do this quarterly? I mean, do it for yourself quarterly, because who the heck remembers from Q1? Honestly, you think you're gonna remember, but if that's not written down, mostly we don't remember, you know what I mean? So it's important to ask those questions ongoingly. You could set up a reflection time on a monthly basis too, if that's what works for you. It depends on your industry, it depends on your vertical, it depends on the sales cycle, that sort of thing. So, this is the preparation that you wanna do, not just for your boss, but for you too, so you can see the impact on your confidence, right? So that's number 1, come with quantitative data, do the data. Number 2, frame your feedback. So, have you ever walked into an interview and gotten vague comments like, "You're doing great, but maybe you should work on, not being so assertive," or being more assertive, as the case may be? What does that even mean? And that's also up to someone else's interpretation. So you want to reframe that feedback. Here's how you do it. You ask for specifics and frame the feedback into something actionable. For example, try saying, "Thanks for the feedback. Can you give me an example of where I could have been more or less assertive? I want to make sure I'm applying this in a way that moves the needle. Can you give me an example of what you're talking about so I can make sure to apply this in a way that moves the needle?" You're also creating collaboration with your boss, because too often when we walk into these performance reviews, we're dealing with someone in authority, duh, because that's the performance review. But it immediately becomes an amygdala hijack if we let it, because it's like, whoa, authority. That can be a little, now all my stuff about authority is coming up, and you turn the person into your mom or dad. So if you're able to reframe the feedback, ask for specificity, ask for an example so that you can apply it in a way that moves the needle. That's really key. You're then saying you're going to own that feedback. You're going to move the needle with that feedback. You're showing self-awareness, you're showing commitment to growth, you're shifting the conversation from critique to collaboration. And don't forget to, if you have, show how you've worked on that particular topic already, or another topic. Yes, you should be more assertive in meetings. Okay, give me a specific example. I want to make sure I move the needle. Well, I have made sure to improve my public speaking skills. And I think I have, but I'd love to hear your perspective on how that's showing up. So you're doing a little improv trick, both and. Someone says, I need you to work on, great job, but I need you to work on being more assertive. Terrific. Can you give me an example so I can apply your feedback and move the needle? And by the way, and yes, and I've been working on improving my public speaking skills From my perspective, there's been a shift. I'm curious about your perspective. Again, creating that collaboration. Do you see that? Number 3, always advocate for your future. The performance reviews are not just about your past. They're thinking about growth, and think about it as like a vision board for the next year. When the conversation turns to goals for 2025, make sure you speak up. Be specific about what you want. For example, I'd like to take on more strategic initiatives to prepare for director level role. How can we make that happen? I'd like to be included in the executive team. Maybe you're in a director role. I'd like to be included in the executive team meetings from time to time so I can better level up my executive presence and understand the direction the organization's going in. How can we make this happen? Again, collaboration. Here's the kicker. Ask for what you need to succeed. Ask. All they can do is say no, right? So ask what you need to succeed. Maybe it's executive coaching. Hello, I know a good one. Maybe it's leadership training. Maybe it's more visibility and higher stakes meetings. Yes, I've been working on my public speaking. Yes, you have. It's been great. Good. Can I take a bigger role in the next board meeting when I'm doing a presentation? So ask for what you need: executive coaching, leadership training, being more visible in high stakes meetings. The key is to connect your request to how they'll benefit the organization. I think me taking a bigger role is going to benefit the organization because my voice from this particular vertical will educate the board or this team of leaders to better understand how our group fits in with a larger company perspective or something like that. I'm doing this theoretically, obviously. This shows you're not just thinking about your growth, you're thinking about the bigger picture, and that is leadership and executive presence in action. That is key. It is so key for you to exercise your leadership, even if you haven't gotten the title yet. And if you have, being able to up level that executive presence, being able to up level that confidence by asking for what you want, by connecting things to the bigger picture. Okay, this is one that's kind of stuck in my craw. Neutralize gender bias. This is the elephant in the room, and I'm going to specifically state this as a quote. So as women, as a quote, as a statistic, we are 93% more likely to hear feedback that relates to our personality than our performance. I'll say that again. As women, we are 93% more likely to hear feedback based on our personality rather than our performance. It sucks. I know. It's great to be told you're collaborative or nice, but that doesn't get you a seat at the table. Here's how you handle it when someone gives you personality focused feedback. Redirect the conversation. For example, if the manager says, "You're so collaborative," well, you're going to respond to, "Thank you. I've used that strength to lead our team in delivering. I've used that strength to help our team better collaborate with the customer service reps so that the customer service reps feel more prepared and are better able to handle some of the customer service calls coming in." Talk about how that personality focused strength, how you've used that to impact the team. Again, stat if you have it, you might not have it because they're telling you that right then, but connect it to the bigger bottom line. You're making sure your contribution is impactful, not just helpful. And remember, it's okay to challenge vague or biased feedback. You're not being difficult, you're being a leader. My favorite way to do that is simply to use the words, "I'm curious." You're not being collaborative enough. I'm curious what makes you say that. I'm curious how you think I can be more collaborative. Where do you think that would make an impact for the organizational goals and the company overall? Again, connecting it to the bigger picture. See? Fifth thing, build momentum post review, especially if this only happens once a year. Don't let the conversation end there. Use it as a launch pad for your next steps. Ask for quarterly reviews. Let the person know, I love having these end of year reviews because it allows me to reflect on what I've accomplished and my areas for growth. But boy, it would really make a difference if we did these quarterly. Instead of only doing it at the end of year, if we did it quarterly, I'd be better able to, I'd probably grow more rapidly. We'd be able to tackle some of the organizational challenges more efficiently because we're tending to the areas of growth earlier than we have previously. And then at the end of all of it, follow up with an email, summarize the key points, any feedback you received, and next steps. It's a simple step. It makes a huge difference in accountability and momentum. So let me leave you with this. Your performance review is your moment. It's your opportunity to celebrate your wins and advocate for your growth and set the stage for an incredible 2025. Don't let self doubt or vague feedback hold you back or get you down. Walk in to your performance review with your head held high, your data in hand, and your vision for the future crystal clear. And if this was helpful, please share it with other women you know in STEM or others you know that feel that this would be super helpful. And if you're ready to dive deeper into building your executive presence, let's connect. I'd love to support you on your journey. Side note, comment below. Give me one thing you're super proud of in 2024. I'd love to know. All right. Ciao for now. We'll see you next week on Java with Jen. Java with Jen. Java with Jen. Java with Jen. Oh, I lied. We're off for the next couple weeks for the Christmas break and the holidays. So I'll see you back in 2025. I'll see you next year, friends. Ciao.